Hi, I'm Renee. This is Kunal, and we're talking about how he's changing education with AI. Stay tuned. Let's get an introduction from you first, Kunal. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, Renee. Thanks for having me. I'm Kunal Busare. I came to Australia in 2017, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done some businesses before, but currently I'm building Kiki Selective, which is an AI-powered chatbot which helps students prepare for selective exams in Australia.
Fantastic. So, yes, we're here in Sydney, Australia. I was lucky enough to meet you at an event we were both speaking at. Got to hear about Kiki Selective myself there, and now I've got you on this video, which is awesome. But yes, we are in New South Wales, the state of Australia, and in New South Wales we have three kinds of schools. When you go to high school in Year 7, we've got your government schools. We've got your private schools, which you have to pay for. And then we've got these selective schools, which we're going to hear a lot more about today. They're a kind of government school, but you have to pass a test to get into the selective school, to get selected for the school. So can you tell us a little bit more about the process of getting into a selective school and how you've got involved with that, Kunal?
Thanks, Renee. That was a great introduction. So, selective schools exams happen in year six. Students sit for this optional exam, and then, if they score well, they get an option to go into their choice of selective schools. And it's a fairly competitive process where students have to prepare for almost 12 to 18 months before, and they have to appear for this exam, which has four different topics in it. And the competition is intense, right? Around 7 to 8,000 students sit every year, prepare really well for this exam, and there are only 2 to 3,000 such seats uh, for these schools. So the chances of getting into this school is pretty low. So the students have to prepare really hard. They actually go for a lot of tuitions, coaching classes, take a lot of books and so on. So it's a fairly involved process, and it's very stressful for students, especially from the Australian background, because they are not used to such competitive exams, and that's where the challenge starts.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know I didn't do these selective exams myself, but they do sound quite intense, the kind of stuff that kids are going through to make sure they get these high marks to get into these specific schools. Can you tell me about anybody that you've been helping, specifically that you've been involved with, that kind of inspired this journey to start Kiki Selective?
Yeah, so just a couple of years back, my niece was appearing for her selective exam, and because I have some experience of doing competitive exams, I was trying to help her understand her, as in teach her shortcuts, time management, all the techniques that are involved. And I was surprised at the level of difficulty of these exams. So that kind of experience stayed with me. And a few months later, ChatGPT was launched. We all were taken aback by the power of generative AI, and that's where I thought that, hey, AI seems something that might have applications in education. And I immediately went back to selective exams, and I thought this can be a really good use case where AI can be used. And that's when I started working on it last year. And yeah, that was the germination of the idea.
Fantastic. So yeah, we've got these kids in year 6, so they're about 11 or 12 years old, probably 11, preparing for these exams. So how is Kiki Selective helping them do this? How's it work?
Yeah, so I decided to start very simple, and I thought I should, instead of building an app, I started integrating this within WhatsApp. Now, coming from an Indian background, WhatsApp is prevalent in the community, and every person within the community has WhatsApp, right? And 2 billion people globally have it. So it becomes a very easy distribution mechanism, and I thought, let me leverage that. So I created this AI chatbot within WhatsApp, powered by AI, and then I kind of created my own question bank, which delivers the questions to the students. So what happens is the students have a number, they chat with it, and every day a question is sent to the students. They can decide to try it, just one question a day, or they can try as many as they want. What happens is it becomes very easy for the students to actually access it. It doesn't feel cumbersome. They don't have to log into a website. It just lands in your inbox. You practice and you are done for the day. So that's how it works.
That's fantastic. I love that you're using an app that they already have installed on their phones. It's not another app to add to your collection. It's just something that they already know how to use and can prompt them to get studying for these exams with an interactive element that's really easy for them to use. It's not another thing they have to learn on top of all the content that they're trying to learn, because they are only 11 years old or possibly younger if they're starting studying early. So that's a really fantastic way, rather than like making a whole new other app to help them out. So, where does the AI come into this app? I want to hear a bit more about how AI is helping you out.
So on the application front, AI is the conversation engine. It handles all the incoming conversations and responds accordingly. I have to train it, prompt it, um, but then I was surprised how effectively it can do it, right? And we did not have this capability a couple of years back. So just having AI and OpenAI's capabilities integrated within the application just gives you a lot more power. The other thing that I'm using AI for is helping evaluate the students' capabilities and just helping them improve gradually. So the AI is smart enough on the back end to understand what the student is doing well at, and then where is the student struggling. And we want to just be at the level where the student learns something every time, but not get complacent with what the students are learning is good at and just giving that kind of questions. So it is an incremental way, self-learning way of evaluating the students' strengths and weaknesses, and then helping them grow gradually.
That's really fantastic. I love that the conversational section of this is being brought by like ChatGPT kind of technologies that you can now access through Azure OpenAI, for instance, and bring that into this model that makes it more personable and easy for the kids to interact with, just because it's just like someone's asking you a question, which is really a great way to get the kids on board, I think. And at the same time, it's asking them a question that's going to be relevant for their learning right now, not something that's going to like stress them out because it's way too hard, and not something that's just going to make them like kind of forget about paying attention to the app because it's too easy. If something's too easy, it's not going to be giving that like dopamine hit when they're feeling like they're succeeding, I reckon. So that's a really fantastic combination of using AI from two different angles, I think, to bring this to life. That's really great for the audience we're working with here. So that's really exciting. So I'm keen to have a look at this actually. So I hear you have a demo that you might be able to show us. Shall
Yes,
we?
I have. Yep.
Fantastic. Let's have a look at that now. Okay. Taking it away.
Yep. So it's basically lies in your WhatsApp. You open the app, and then a prompt is sent to you. You get this prompt. You can click on practice today, and then you can choose what to do. A question is sent to you with multiple options. You select one option, and if it is wrong, it will tell you, "Hey, it's not right. Can you try again? Do you want to choose option B?" And it might be correct. And that's when you get these options where you can say, okay, I want to stop for today. Can you give me explanation for this question, or let's continue practicing? And there are different types of questions, thinking skills and maths, and you can choose whichever you want to practice. And then that's it, right? If you want to stop, you can stop anytime. You get a daily progress report, and the same report is also sent to the parents, so they are kept abreast of how the student is performing. And that's it. A very simple interface within WhatsApp, very easy for the students to use.
Amazing. It's so intuitive and it's cute at the same time. And it seems so friendly and easy to just get started with answering those questions. So, from the people you've tested on, like what stage are you kind of at in your creation and testing and getting it out into the world?
I'm in alpha testing right now. I have quite a few students using this app regularly. I'm getting a lot of feedback from them. I'm also engaging with parents and coaching classes, so I would be able to create the app in such a way that it helps all the stakeholders. I'm looking for more users to onboard and try this out. So that's on the development side of things. I'm also engaging with partners within the industry. So I'm engaging with experts to build the question bank, and also with the coaching classes so that they can use this for their own students.
Amazing. So what are the kids saying? I'd love to know. How are they using it? Are they using it in place of their tutoring or on the bus on the way home? Are they doing it with their friends?
Yeah, and I was surprised by how the students have started using it, right? They started using it initially alone, but I've heard of students, they bring over their friends over Saturday, they start Kiki, they ask questions, they both solve the questions together. verify the answer, and then move forward. So it has become a kind of a socializing, collaborative way of learning where Kiki is your tutor. So I was really surprised by that, and I'm glad that students are using it in unique ways so that it just builds on their own learning.
That's so awesome. It's really cute to hear that they're just like having it kind of like it's a game night almost, except it's helping them study for these exams because it is a thing that often a lot of friends are all doing because they do all want to pass these exams and get into the same schools. So fingers crossed for all of them out there who are studying for these exams right now, and hopefully Kiki can help them along their way at these little learning parties. So yeah, that's super cute, and I also love that it's something that they can do on their own as well. Maybe you have some spare time between school and getting to hockey practice. We know the kids have a lot of things on after school these days, and it's a great thing to just be able to fit in there. So they do have some more extra time that they're not studying because they're using that spare time a little bit more. So yeah, I think this is super handy for kids who are trying to get all this learning done, but keep on going with their lives as well.
Yeah,
I,
I've seen a few parents, students just use it while they are waiting on their dental appointment and while coming back home and while commuting. So there are very interesting stories that are coming out how students are using it.
That's fantastic. So, what do you imagine like the demographics of the kids who are going to be using this? Because we do have a lot of a tutoring culture for the kinds of people who do aim to get into these selective schools. So, a lot of money is getting spent on tutoring, and not that kind of experience isn't going to be accessible to everyone who might desire to get into a selective school, but without some sort of training, you're going to not really be able to succeed in these exams. How do you see this fitting into that world of things when we have that kind of accessibility equity issue?
Yeah, and I actually was surprised, and I did not start with this thought, but the more I've been working on this idea, I realized that it makes the playing field level for the students with not who do not have the same opportunities as students in metro cities have, especially students from disabled background, disadvantaged backgrounds, migrant backgrounds, or regional. All these students will be able to access the same level of coaching that other students can access very easily. Also, this is a subscription model service, so it becomes very cost effective for actual students to actually use it. Um, so yeah, that was unintended, but I'm so glad that this Kiki Selective app can actually help students have the same opportunities that other students have.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned at the start that students are using a lot of books and things like that for these exam prep. And even just the books are going to be expensive. And like they're just books, they just sit there. If you don't interact with them, they're just sitting on the dining room table waiting for the kids to get started. But Kiki's going to prompt them to make sure they get started. And they can do it anywhere on their phone, which is really neat.
Yeah, and in the books, I did not realize, but I was competing with books actually. That's what the feedback I got from parents, right? A book costs anywhere around $35-$40 per book. There are four subjects. You have to spend at least on three, four books each subject. So the cost of acquiring those books increases drastically. Whereas Kiki becomes a very cost-effective solution where you can practice for these two subjects, unlimited questions within a single yearly subscription. So uh, the way I look at it is that Kiki is delivering value at the cost of two books as compared to buying 10 books.
Absolutely. And a book isn't going to be able to help you learn the thing you need to learn now. Like, if you open up a book, you can be like, oh my God, I don't know any of this stuff. And it's just because you've opened up to the wrong chapter. You're just not ready for that. But Kiki's going to be able to give you the grounding that you need so you can build off that and hopefully succeed even more. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and there is this accessibility plus ease of use benefit over the books. So, yeah, I think that's the selling point for Kiki Selective.
Amazing. So, can you tell me a bit more about how you've actually made Kiki Selective come to life? What is the tech that's come to make it be that you've put together?
Right. So I've developed it on Python language, hosted it in Azure, using OpenAI backend services and WhatsApp API services to bring everything together. In my database, the questions sit. So there's a question bank where which I have created along with the help of experts, um, and that's how it gets delivered. Right, a student starts a chat via WhatsApp. Questions are sent through the database. OpenAI handles the conversation, and then Azure provides me cloud hosting services.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a really great combination of technologies. And having met you at an event where I was talking a little bit about Microsoft for Startups, you've actually signed up to Microsoft for Startups since then. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey and how that's actually, impacted your journey with Kiki Selective so far, and what it's been like?
Yeah, thanks, Renee, for introducing me to the very nice, well-defined program of Microsoft Startups. Um, Immediately after we met, I signed up and I was in within a week. The program I found really well-defined, well-structured. It was relevant to what I was doing. And once I was in, I migrated to Azure Cloud Infrastructure. I started using Azure OpenAI services. And it immediately brought my cost down, right? Thank you so much, Microsoft, for the credits that you have given. They have really helped me increase my runway and just test more, right? I also found that there are 4 levels within the program. I'm at level 2, and then I can actually graduate to the next level once I hit certain milestones, and then to the next level where I get even more credits. That was on the program side. Thank you so much for that. But what Microsoft also did was give us access to experts. So I could book in calls with the relevant people in cloud hosting, and they really were helpful uh, to address some of my questions, get me going. So yeah, and I could not see any limit to those number of calls that I could have. So it was a really good way for me to getting started there.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, for those of you who are watching at home who might be a little bit interested in Microsoft for Startups Founders Hub, what Kunal's just mentioned is you get some free credits. So that at your different stages for your startup, you get more and more credits as you go through, and that's for both Azure services as well as Azure OpenAI services that you'll be able to use, which is really handy if you're looking to do a cool AI startup like Kunal here. But you also get access to the expert network, which has uh, experienced developers. They might be advocates and developers like myself from inside Microsoft. They might be MVPs, most valuable professionals from the broader Microsoft community, or other people who are just helping out as part of the expert network to help give new startups a leg up. So, yeah, you can get all of that as part of the Founders Hub, which you can find a link for in the description. So, it's great to hear you've had such a good time as part of Founders Hub from Microsoft for Startups. How has your startup journey generally been now using AI as such a new technology? Have there been any risks that you've had to think about, any hurdles you've had to overcome, or has it been really smooth, cool sailing the whole time?
Yeah, these are startups, right? So we come across different challenges which we could not have thought about. So yeah, I started with it. Technically, it was fairly decent. I was very happy with the services that OpenAI provides, and I'm glad that the API library is just improving. So they are so I had to handle a lot of things myself, which gradually it will become much easier. Let's say, for example, we have to handle context right now when a user is conversing with the AI. If that is taken care of, that becomes one less thing for the developers to worry about. Then moderation is another important thing because I deal with students. I have to be very sure that the AI doesn't respond in inappropriate ways. So it's glad that Microsoft and OpenAI takes care of moderation level, and recently they've just upgraded it to a better level. Um, and then there are more challenges on the other front, right? Because this is a new concept, because it sits within WhatsApp. There is this inhibit customer hesitancy of usage, which I have to overcome. So that is the part that I'm working on.
Fantastic. Yeah, there's always, little bits and pieces. When you're starting a brand new idea from scratch, you've got to do all the legwork and think of all the different possibilities. So I was wondering, you are working with the data of children. Have there been any considerations you've had to take into account when doing that? What has the reaction from parents been like? And what's the general reaction to both the technology in general, but also the AI factor of it.
Right, and parents have these questions: how is the conversation stored? What kind of data is stored about the kids, and so on. And I'm creating policies and implementing the systems such that the conversation is safe and secure. Uh, I'm glad that so far none of the issues that I had thought about have come about. Many students have tried to break and have different conversations, but the AI was very smart enough to actually bring the conversation back to the topic. Um, at the same time, when the parents start using it, they get more confidence in the application and how it works. So I have a free trial. The parents go and use it, and only when they are confident about it, they pass it on to their kids. So far, not big concerns, but obviously there are questions which I think it's getting easier and easier for me to answer.
Yeah, fantastic. I think like there's already always so many considerations when working with kids, but it sounds like you've got those all under control, and like working with Microsoft Tech, it makes your security kind of taken care of, which is really handy when you're storing the data of children. So that's a nice one to have already locked in, nice and secure. So I guess I would want to ask next, for people starting out on their journey with a startup, possibly an AI startup, what tips do you have for them going forward?
Uh, it is still early days where apps are getting built using AI, right? And there is a lot of capability that has been opened up. So my suggestion is there are a lot many use cases, valid use cases that need to be solved where AI will be relevant solution. Can you find within your industry, within your network, can you find the right use cases, validate the problems, and then quickly build a solution? My experience has been really great. Before this, I've built apps and businesses with partners. This is my first solo business, and the capability that AI gives me is immense. My productivity has been high. I learned programming after 8 years of gap and really built a decent application. So, uh, Microsoft's Copilot has made it easy for me to actually do that. So there's a lot of power that a single person gets with AI, and I think everyone should be using it. Find the right problem to work on, build a quick solution, and see whether it works.
I love that takeaway from that is just like give it a go and see what you can do, and like just solve a new problem, because there's so many problems out there to be solved, and like every individual on the globe knows about a different problem that could be solved, and like they can bring their own understanding of it and maybe see how AI could bring come into that, or technology in general. So yeah, I love that just general piece of advice to get out there and give it a go. And if you do want to give it a go, maybe hit up Microsoft for Startups as well while you're there to get some access to some of the free goodness, which I always love to be advocating giving away free stuff. It's one of my best skills. So definitely get on board with that. But yeah, speaking about people's futures and in building new apps and technologies, what is next for Kiki Selective? Where are you going to take it in the future?
Uh, I feel within the next few months, I should reach product market fit. That's what I'm working towards. I would like students to use it regularly. I would like to increase the retention rate. Uh, so those are the metrics that I'm trying to hit internally. On the external front, I'm sure that monetization will be the next step. And once I hit a certain monetization, I would like to see what are the different applications that the same model can be used for. There are multiple competitive exams within Australia, outside Australia, which are very ripe for this kind of a solution. So those are my long-term goals.
Absolutely. Like the sky's the limit when you have access to GTP technology, because there are so many different use cases around the globe. And you obviously can't read every single exam book around the world, but with some use of AI technology, you might be able to distill some of the key facts about what kind of things is covered in the exams, and then use that, that understanding to be able to prompt people for training for these exams. So there's just so many use cases, different exams around the globe, whether it's for 11-year-olds or it's for university students or people doing professional development. There's so many people learning out there, or maybe they're just learning for fun. So yeah, I love to see how this is going, and maybe people just want to brush up on some of those skills that they have. Just be reminded to practice every day if they just want to brush up on their spelling or who knows what. So that's
Absolutely.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, all super exciting. Yeah, is there anything else now that we're wrapping up that you would like to share or ask our viewers? Things that they could help out with, use your product or give it a test?
Yeah, please go to kikiselective.com. There is a free trial. Just test it out. Try to break the application. Give me feedback. Tell me how it works, how it doesn't work, and I'm happy to work with you to actually improve the product. At the same time, if you can go to my socials, like things, subscribe to the channel, that will be really great. So thank you so much for all the support, and I really look forward to more people trying Kiki.
Fantastic. Yeah. So if you're watching and you're a kid who's studying for an exam, get out there and break Kunal's up. He's just asked you to do that. So make sure you go and break it. It sounds like some of the kids are already trying to break it by like putting in some conversations that maybe they shouldn't be having. It's a good thing to know that the parents are also getting records of how the kids are doing. They're in the loop on what the kids are doing, and the AIs there to manage what the kids are getting up to as well. So this has been so great talking to you, Kunal, about Kiki Selective. I really love how you combined AI technology, both from the angle of giving incremental learning and the customized learning journey. That means the kids are getting to learn what they need when they learn to need it, not going too hard or going too easy, to make sure they're hitting that achievable challenge, as I like to call it. So they're getting that good feeling of getting success, which is obviously what they're going for when they're doing their little study parties, which is so cute to hear. And I'm glad they're having so much fun with it. So, yeah, thanks so much for coming along, telling us about your Founders Hub Microsoft Startups journey. Hopefully, inspiring some other people to get involved. And make sure, if you're watching this, go and have a look at Kiki Selective. It's such a great way to combine that conversational AI, that incremental learning, and just putting it into WhatsApp, into an app you probably already have on your phone, to give you a learning opportunity right there and then that reminds you to study, which I love to see.
Yeah, thanks, Renee, for having me. Thanks, Microsoft, for all the support to help me get this started. And yeah, I look forward to being in the Microsoft ecosystem and just excited for all the new things that it can bring for us.
Fantastic. We love to have you here in our ecosystem and in our community, Kunal. So invitation to everybody else to join us too. Make sure you check out the links to Founders Hub and Kiki Selective, as well as Kunal's social links in the chat, in the description below. And yeah, we hope to see you next time for another episode of Build It with AI.
Thanks, Renee. Have a good one.
You too.